in partnership with the Arkansas Department of Education, Governor Hutchinson proclaimed this week as Educator Signing Week. All across the state, current and future educators, students, community members, families will sign their commitment to the students of the great state of Arkansas. Tonight's guest speaker was a perfect choice to help kick off Signing Week. Marie Ferdinand-Harris, a former shooting guard, is the first Haitian American to play in the WNBA. A Miami native, Ferdinand-Harris led Miami Edison High School to a state basketball championship as a sophomore and was named Florida Prep Player of the Year in 1995. Ferdinand-Harris attended LSU, where she became one of only 4 players in the women's basketball program history to record at least 1,500 points, 500 rebounds, 300 assists, and 200 steals. She was inducted into the LSU Athletic Hall of Fame in 2007. Marie Ferdinand-Harris was also a member of the 2000 USA Basketball Women's Select Team that won the gold medal at the Jones Cup in Taipei. Drafted 8th in the 2001 draft by the Utah Stars, Ferdinand-Harris retired in 2011 after being named WNBA All-Star in 2002, 2003, and 2005. Since her retirement from professional basketball, Ferdinand-Harris jump-started motivational circuits, developed an ultimate teammate course, and has devoted her time to the Marie Ferdinand Foundation, that's hard to say, which promotes girls' education and uses the sport of basketball to help girls reach their full potential. Welcome, Marie.
Good evening. I am so excited to be here, but it's so funny how God works, because this all started with just a one-on-one game with the governor, and now I find myself in the midst of Commissioner Key, Jeff Dyer. I felt like they were looking at me like a rock star, but I felt like I was in the presence of 2 rock stars with Randy House and also Tasha Wilson, and I'm like, these are the rock stars, not me. They're making the difference. They are a product of my story. So I wanted to make sure I take the time to say thank you to Megan, thanks to Jeff. I know I'm constantly on you guys. Hey, how can y'all use me? Use me. I'm always so inspired to share my story, because I know it could be a true blessing to someone that will listen. So I'll start off by saying I'm Marie Ferdinand-Harris. I was born and raised in Miami, Florida. Both my parents are of Haitian descent. My parents moved to Miami with very little. And we lived in really a little shack. It was a 2-bedroom little place, and the area we lived in was very bad. Not the best place to raise a family, but it was the best my parents could do at the time. Growing up was just very challenging. Crimes, drugs, teen pregnancy, dropout rate. The schools we went to were all F-rated schools. But at a very young age, I made a decision to be a trailblazer and to be an example. It's 8 of us in my household. I have 3 older brothers, an older sister, and 3 younger sisters. And college was just not a reality in our family. My parents, unfortunately, didn't go to college. Older brothers didn't go. They were always not making the best choices, living in the area we lived in. And my older sister was always left at home to care for us, because mom and dad had to work. So I was always watching my parents. I was always watching to see how they were handling these adversities, these tough times. And they kept a good attitude and kept a smile on their face. They made Christmas when really, I don't know how. It was hard for them to keep the lights on. But every Christmas, we had Christmas with the little that they had. So I just always wanted to make my parents proud. I wanted to change the culture in my household, not just for my younger sisters, but also in my school. In the school I went to, there weren't kids going to school. It was just something that wasn't a reality. So I was determined to find a way to be that trailblazer that set the example, to let not just my sisters, but also those students know college, it can happen. I just didn't know, how was I going to do this big job? How was I going to do it? How was I going to get out of the darkness? Where was I going to find that opportunity? And one day, it started at the age of 13, I'm sitting in English, and they make that famous announcement that I'm sure you guys heard before. Anyone interested in girls basketball, come try out. And it dawned on me, oh, wow, I should go do that. I should go try out. Lord knows I didn't even like to run. I don't even like to sweat. I'm one of those girly girls. I don't even do that. But it was an opportunity to possibly reach my dreams and do big things and get out of that environment. So I went on out and I tried out for basketball. I always share with young people today, when you're young, try things, be open-minded. You don't know where your gifts are. So with me going into trying basketball, I remember walking into that gym and didn't know what I was doing, chucking the ball, just trying to do my best. But I remember the coach looking at me and saying, wow, I can work with you. And I'm looking at him like, you can work with what? Like I was clearly bad, but he saw something in me. But at the end of the practice, I really had a great time running around with my teammate trying to make a basket, which made me want to continue basketball. I actually had fun that first practice. And then I move on to high school, and I feel like this is when my divine intervention happened. There was a coach who was just a security guard. Like I said, the schools we went to were really bad. There were always fights. It was always something happening at the school, so the school were loaded with security. But there was this one particular security guard who would always come to the gym and volunteer his time and teach us basketball fundamentals. He would teach us the proper way to shoot, the proper way, the kind of way like the San Antonio Spurs play. They play fundamentally sound basketball. He was that coach. He was a developer, and he believed in playing basketball the right way. He literally took these group of Haitian kids who were in this poor demographic, poor school district, and he instilled hope in us. He started teaching us all these valuable skills, and not just on the court, but also in the classroom. He started telling us the importance of not settling for C's, to pushing yourself. So from 1 year of just committing to what this coach was telling us, when I can remember even when we were in the gym and we couldn't get in because volleyball had the court, he would load us up in his little minivan and take us to a nearby park and continue with our development. Within 1 year of just committing, he put us in camps, clinics. He put us in everything he can possibly put us in. I went in within a year, became one of the most sought after guards that all these schools wanted to provide a scholarship to. I had LSU and Georgia, Tennessee, Miami, Florida. And it dawned on me that day, oh my gosh, I'm going to use sport as my vehicle to capitalize off that scholarship that I want. And from there on, lights was out. Like literally, my grades skyrocketed. And then for me, I always wanted to go to college. I really just didn't know how to. My environment told me I couldn't, I wouldn't, and it was just negativity all around. But I can remember, even though my environment telling me no, walking to school because my parents couldn't take me to school, walking to school and seeing all these things happening, like bad things. But coming into class with being very deterred and sad because of what I would witness either before or after. But my teachers telling me, hey, you're smart, you're bold, you're beautiful, you're going to be successful. So whenever there's opportunities to do something where teachers are involved, I am so in favor of it because teachers, you guys don't know that little seed, that little bit of hope that you're instilling in those students, how you will reap those benefits eventually. It'll come it will come back to you tenfold. And I'm a product of that. Math was one of those subjects where we just didn't get along. But I can remember always my best friend was my math teacher because I knew if I was going to capitalize off this scholarship, I had to make sure my grades were where they had to be. So I spent time with my teacher day in, day out. And when I showed her that I cared and I wanted it more, she went beyond. So for me, teachers are another route that I use to get to college. So here I am, I'm at this school where there's never nothing positive going on at this school, but we basically changed the culture. They never knew there was a basketball team at my high school. It was nothing but negativity, but we started this positive chain, this positive vibe all through sports, all through not just getting it done athletically, but also academically. And all of a sudden our games were sold out. There wasn't even a seat. It became this big thing. How did these Haitian kids become so dominant in basketball? A year or two, we were the one getting blown out, but now we were the one blowing them out, all through hard work, all through committing to excellence, committing to school, committing to getting better, and having a good attitude. So for me, I was able to leave there and sign to go to LSU, which is a big deal. They don't believe any students from that demographic, that school, can get to an LSU. But you know, for me, I was never listened. The doubters were always there, the naysayers saying, wow, she's a really good basketball player, but there's no way she's gonna pass her ACT. So it fueled me, it motivated me to prove them wrong. I can remember every Saturday morning taking these ACT prep class, teaming up with my English teachers. That's why teachers hold a special place in my life, because it wasn't just through sports, it was also through caring teachers that I was able to pass that ACT with a very high score and go on to LSU. We had news stations, everyone on campus to meet this one student doing big things at this one particular school that supposedly don't produce anything good. So for me, I've always tell young kids, it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter if you're in a two-parent household. It doesn't matter if you're in a nice school district, a poor school district. The only thing that matters is what do you want for yourself? And are you willing to roll your sleeve up and work towards what you want? And for me, even though I was in a dark place, I was always looking for that light of one opportunity, one thing that I can take advantage of to use that one thing to reach my dreams. So now I'm at LSU and the naysayers continue to talk. And I was always listening because I use it as motivation. They said, she's there, but there's no way she's gonna finish LSU. Most of the time, if a kid from that area make it, they'll drop out. So I was determined to finish, not just to be satisfied with going to college, but to finish it. I was able to finish every summer, taking those summer classes, not going back home, taking those anatomies, those tough classes that I'm sure you girls and boys are familiar with. But I took those classes in the summer, and within 4 years, I was able to graduate LSU, got my degree in kinesiology, left LSU, becoming a 2 years in a row Scholar Athlete of the Year, inducted into the LSU Sports Hall of Fame, becoming an SEC great, a Kodak All-American. All these things happening to this young Haitian girl whose parents are from Haiti and who's thought of as dumb, not going to succeed, destined to fail. But that's just, my story is not special. It's just for me, I just looked for those opportunities and not focused on the circumstances. I feel like my journey was just not for myself. It was for me to do exactly what I'm doing now. It's to speak to the teachers, speak to the students, and let them know what is it that you want? And how hard are you willing to work for it? Are you going to be focusing on those circumstances? Are you looking for that window of an opportunity? Are you willing to be open-minded? Are you willing to stay comfortable? What are you willing to do? And for me, I looked at my situation. I looked at the school district I was in, and it didn't matter. For me, the only thing that mattered was, where is that next opportunity? That was the only thing that would have caught my attention. So now I graduate from LSU, and my goal was to graduate, get my degree, go back home, and buy my mom a home. My mom lived in a 2-bedroom apartment her whole entire life, never owning a home. So I was determined to find a way to get a good job, buy her that house. And I was blessed to get drafted into the WNBA. First round, 8th overall pick to the Utah Stars, who relocated and became the San Antonio Stars. Played 4 years in San Antonio, played 5 years in LA, played another 3 years in Phoenix. Recently wrapped up my whole WNBA career, becoming a 3-time WNBA All-Star and becoming the only Haitian American to ever play in the WNBA. So for me, so it's a lesson that I've learned that the journey was not just for me, and also it wasn't just about basketball. It was bigger than ball, which is a tagline that I use in my brand, which is, it's bigger than ball. You know, basketball stops, but you continue, and what you have to offer continue. And for me, I want to encourage teachers. I want to encourage students. I want to encourage the community. Let's start being that change that we want to see. Let's start finding a way. I'm here, this is what my second day in Pine Bluff, and this is a beautiful place with a lot of rich history, culture. You know, you guys can be that change. We can do things to make this community even more special. Instead of being on that sideline, get in and see, okay, how can I be that difference? How can I be that change that I want to see? So we can keep some of these talented kids who are graduating with great degrees, have all this experience. We could keep them here and they don't have to go to these big markets. But we need to make sure we're doing our part as a community member and working hard to get in and see where can I make a difference. And to my teachers, oh my gosh, you guys don't know how blessed of a position you guys have. Had it not been for teachers in my path, there's no way I make it. Because every time I walk to school, my environment said, you're gonna drop out. I see it, it's everywhere. But my teacher, when I had nights where I didn't even see my mom, all I wanted was a hug. And my teacher would give me a hug. Sometimes it's those little things that makes a huge difference in a student life. You know, my teacher, my mom, I wanted her to come to my games. She couldn't come. She was always working. But when I saw my teacher at my game, like that made me feel it did something for me. So you guys don't know how much of a role you play in a student life, but those little things matter. You know, you could be that seed that develops something special. You know, I sat earlier in a panel with Randy and with Tasha Wilson, and I'm looking at, okay, we have 2 teachers of the year, and then you have a student or a student, which was myself, and I'm looking at it like, oh my gosh. Like I was the seed. Look at what the seed planted. They were the seed. Look what they planted. I'm a product of a good teacher. I'm a product of great education. And I'm a product of using sport as an avenue to open up doors for me. So I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for being able to stand here and share my story. Hopefully, you know, it's an inspiration to many to let you guys know that don't get comfortable in life. What is it that you want? You go get it, because guess what? There's a million other people going for what you want. So you have to be willing to do that extra. You have to be really willing to capitalize on those networking opportunities. You know, when I was at LSU, every summer, I just didn't take those classes. I look for internship opportunities. A lot of students are here today. Capitalize on all those things that the colleges are offering you. You know, there's this saying that says, you know, don't let the university use you. Use the university. And let me tell you, I used LSU up. I capitalized on everything I could have capitalized off. When I graduated, if I didn't get into the WNBA, there were so many things I could have gotten into because of the network, the opportunities, the internship, all the different open doors that the school provided. I took full advantage of it. The tutoring. I mean, you get so much, but at times, students, we get so lazy. We can't be lazy. We got to work. We got to set ourselves apart. We have to start building our resume right now, right where you sit. You can be building that resume as an incoming freshman. There's things you can do. So don't get out of the lazy. Make sure you're giving your time to things that's going to advance you in life. You know, social media is great, but hey, last time I checked, Facebook, Snapchat, they're not giving those scholarships. So a lot of you guys are putting your time into it, but give your time to things that's going to advance you in life. You know, don't spend so much time on those games. You know, find time to get going on what you know you need to do. There's a paper need to be done, get on it. Work on managing your time. If there's a test, don't cram and wait for the night before. Get on it. Like the sky's the limit for the ones who's willing to work. Remember my story, that little Haitian girl from a poor area went all the way to the WNBA doing appearances with the NBA. I'm in the bus with LeBron James and Steph Curry, and I'm like, look at God. This little Haitian girl, what in the world? Hey, LeBron, what's up? You know, it's amazing how much opportunity come your way if you have that good attitude, that drive, that work ethic, and you're willing to just not be comfortable in life. As soon as you get comfortable, you stop growing. You got to challenge yourself. And if you do that, doors will open. You'll set yourself apart. Things will happen for you. So thank you guys so much.
Beautiful story. And I've spent my year talking about the importance of relationships. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what you just spoke to, that importance of relationships. So I have a few questions.
Yes, ma'am.
And then we're going to open it out to the audience. So get your questions ready if you have any. You already answered a couple of them. What advice do you have for the teachers here tonight that would help them reach a student who faces challenges?
Well, for me, I was that student. I faced many, many challenges. But you know what? For me, when I saw my teacher just sit and just talk to me, even if it's 10 minutes, 1 minute after school, that made a huge difference because it was showing me that, you know what? She really cares. She cares for me. So I would say, find out, sit and talk to the students and find out what's really going on. Show them that you care. Show them that you want them to succeed. Because for me, growing up, it was filled with darkness, and mom and dad had to work. So mom and dad couldn't give me those hugs. I had to see what I was seeing and suck it up and go to school and be ready to learn. Like that's impossible. Sometimes we didn't even have breakfast, but I was expected to still go to school and learn and have a smile on my face. But my teachers, school was my safe haven. For me, it gave me life. It breathed life into me. I was so fortunate to have really good teachers. Even though we were in an area where it was bad, our teachers were really good teachers, and they made a huge difference in shaping my life.
So I have one teacher that comes to mind as always being there for me and being that one teacher that basically changed my life. You spoke about several, but if you were to think about that one teacher who made the greatest impact on you, who would that be and why?
I would say it will definitely be my math teacher, Miss Trotman. Miss Trotman was known to be the meanest teacher, but man, when you put forth your best effort and she see that you're trying, and even if she saw you didn't try, she was going to get the best out of you. But for me, it was Miss Trotman because Miss Trotman made me believe in myself. And she made me believe I can accomplish the world. Like it's right. Like she had that way of getting me to believe I can do whatever it is I set my mind to do. And she just instilled that confidence in me. I go back to Miami and I run camps for the kids. And every time I go, and she's still there, and I see her, the smile is just, you can't describe the smile because I can tell it melts her heart to see how well and how I've made her so proud. So I would definitely see Miss Trotman.
You have made her proud.
Yes.
Oh, that's beautiful. All right. Well, does anybody in the audience have any questions that you would like answered?
I see something that's going to be brighter coming out of you. Yes, I hear the same thing that you hear, but then I see greatness in you. And oftentimes as teachers, we're the only ones that's telling a kid that. What were some of the things that those people told you? Mm-hmm. What did you hear on a daily basis that made you say, I see all this going around, but no, I'm going to keep my eye forward? What did they tell you in particular?
Okay. So for me, first and foremost, I always watch my mom. My mom is a very hard worker. I was determined to make her proud. It was already in me to do something beyond what I was seeing, because I wanted to be that change. I wanted to be that example. So to match that with something that a teacher said to me was all I needed, was the extra hope and motivation I needed. So it was more so simple things like saying, hey, how was your day? Hey, what'd you do this weekend? Having that relationship with me, to me, made all the difference in the world, because they didn't just care for me as a student, but they wanted to learn about me, know about me. They wanted to know, hey, what'd you do this weekend? They wanted to develop or establish a relationship on top of just becoming a student or being a student. They didn't just care about, okay, you did your homework, you did your classwork, but they also wanted to know about home life and what are some things going on. They just did a little bit more than what most teachers would do. So I think that for me, it made me feel like I can trust my teacher. My teacher genuinely care for me. My teacher care about what I like and what other thing that interests me. So I was blessed to have really good teachers, but those are some of the things that set them apart, was the fact that most of my teachers wanted to know more than just, how well I was doing with my classes, but sat and chatted with me about other things, not dealing with school, which made me feel more comfortable, and I just didn't want to disappoint her.
My question is, what was your greatest fear as you were rising up in your career?
Is this more so into college, professional?
I'm thinking more professional.
Okay. Well, And I'll even rewind back to college. You know, I grew up in an area where I just had people that literally looked like me. My whole entire life, it was just being in a black community. And going to LSU was a huge challenge for me. It was huge, and I had to constantly reinforce and self-talk myself and to say, hey, you're worthy. You're just as smart. You belong here. And I had to make myself sit in that front row. I had to make myself know that, hey, this was not given. You earned this. You earned this fair and square. So sit in that front seat. You're just as deserving. So for me, the challenge more so for me was in college and having to make that adjustment with the different environment.
I want to know, has there been any improvement in your elementary school or the school district that you graduated from at the secondary level? You know, how is that going?
Yes. So I can say that when I left LSU, I left LSU, 3 more students from that school went on to LSU. So I can say they adopted a motto. If Marie can, so can we. And we had 3 other young ladies go on to LSU, one that's in the WNBA right now. So I can say that the school, it's on the rise. It's doing better. It hasn't become an A school, but college has become a reality in their mind.
So it's the time of the year where teachers are tired. I hear it, yeah. So, you know, the weather's changing and everybody really wants to be outside and we have testing coming up and it's just a really tough time. What advice do you have for us here in the room, in the classroom, to keep going and really push through this difficult time and end the year on a positive note?
I would say finish the job. Like finish it. Try something different. Change as the season changed. Make it fun in the classroom. Okay, we're getting ready for summer and it's spring, so let's try to change a little bit up. Let's bring that season in the classroom and let's inspire the kids. Let's set the tone of how we're gonna finish the school year. I mean, the students are gonna go as the teachers go. You come in with that energy of, okay, summer, we're gonna do a lesson. You know, let's change when the season change and let's kind of bring on the kids. Instead of running out of gas, let's try to find ways to get, you know, the job's not done yet. Let's find a way to get some more gas. And maybe it could be some fun things with what's going on right now. Okay, the playoffs, NBA, a lot of kids are all into sports. A lot of the kids are into American Idol. Let's get them in tone with something along with the lesson, but something fun with what's going on right now. And you'd be surprised, all of a sudden you'll be into American Idol in the playoffs, but let's move as the season changes. Let's change too. But you gotta find that last bit of energy to get you through, because as you go on to summer, when summer ain't here yet, trust me, those kids gonna go on to summer too. So you are gonna be that tone setter. So you have to find something and dig a little bit deeper for 3 more weeks and find that one thing that can ignite my kids to finish strong.
Thank you. And Marie, thank you for coming
Yes, you're
tonight. This
welcome.
has been awesome. And thank you all for spending your evening here learning and growing. Make sure that if you want your PD credit to grab the paper on their way out, and thank y'all so much.
And I forgot one thing.
Oh.
I did buy my mom that home. When I got my first WNBA check, bought my mom the home. Yes.
Thank y'all.
Yes.